All right, guys, so I'm a little excited today to do this video because way back in February of this year, I say way back, but it seems like it's like 7,000 years ago. But back in February, actually, as you can see here on the screen, February 27th, I bought this microphone. It's the Synco Mic-D2 Hyper Cardioid Directional Condenser with XLR. And since I bought that microphone, which was actually recommended to me from a friend of mine, he was like, if you want a good microphone at a decent price that really competes with some really higher end microphones, this is one you should look at. So I got it and I love it. It's actually the mic that you and I are hearing pretty much from every video that I've done at that point till now. And it sits on a little boom arm up above me right here. You guys can't see it, it's just out of shot, but I love it. It does require phantom power. So I actually have the cable running down into this. It's a Comica AD2, and basically it's an XLR to 3.5 inch jack so that I can provide phantom power as well as plug it directly into the camera so the camera records that audio. So that whole complete kit kind of cost me, it was about $400 when I bought it. So $400 for this, that was about $70 with the longer cable. Let's say it was about a $500 setup, but money well invested for me because I think that audio that comes out of this mic, fantastic. I just love it. So I was perusing around on the old Amazons because I was like, I kind of want a better mic for when I do shooting, again, over in the other room, the little office room. And right now, if I'm doing stuff straight in front of the computer, I have a USB mic that works great because if I'm doing screen recording and I'm facing the computer and that's kind of what I'm doing, that mic picks up great. But when I'm physically talking to the camera, I would like a microphone that picks up very similar or as close to this one as possible, so the sound matches really well. Now, I could have went and got one of these, but that means, again, I'm spending $500, and I was like, I don't want to. And I never realized that Synco makes a Mic-D1, which is this guy here, $289. So bonus of this one is it's automatically about $100 cheaper, which is great. What's the difference? I don't even know. I'm not a tech person. You guys, if you want to see technical specifications on it, you are more than welcome to go to their Amazon listing and you can get this. And you see, I just purchased this just a couple days ago. But here's the big one. As you can see here, broadcast microphone for DSLR cameras, camcorders, and boom poles. So it's got pretty much the majority, I think, of the same kind of specs as the D2 has in it. But you can add a AA battery inside this so that it can provide its own phantom power, which means I can put it on top of my camera and get, hopefully, similar sound. So we're gonna take a look at what comes in the box and we're gonna do a quick sound test. And that's coming up. All right, guys, here it is, Synco. This is the Mic-D1 microphone, 78 dB SNR. What does that mean? I don't know, but if you're an audio person, you probably know all about that. Here's the box itself. I'll spin this around so you guys can see it a bit more. There's going to be the specs of it right here. So if you want to, or if this information is important to you, you know what's important to me is how it sounds. How it gets that, I don't really care. What I care about is the sound that comes out of this going to be good for what I want? And the D2, fantastic. My hope is the D1 is going to be just as good. So there you go. There's your element, polar pattern, frequency response, signal to noise ratio, sensitivity, dynamic range, Power requirements. There it is. Phantom power 48, AA battery. Oh yeah, AA battery. That's awesome. Okay, let's see what comes in here. Now, my guess is this is gonna have the same, if not similar, kind of case as the D2 had. And it came with a nice little carry case, which was super nice. We'll just kind of pull this off. Not that I carry the other one around, but this one I probably would, because again, gonna be something that I use for my, this says SLR, but my mirrorless cameras. And being able to put this in a case for travel, super nice. All right, so here we go. And yeah, same kind of case. There it is, Synco. I love it. I love it. I do. I love it. You guys can hopefully see that. There's the Synco case. Come on now, that looks all kinds of professional. Little carry handle on there. That's nicely going to protect the gear. Zipper around here somewhere. There we go. Oh, I'm so happy. This is gonna be fantastic. I already have a feeling. It can't not be good, right? All right. So Cinco D1 user manual, full color, excellent. Contents, cool. Fonts are good. Shows you what comes in here. Feature introduction, specifications, power requirements. There's your Synco Mic-D1 runs on 48 volt phantom power or be powered by one AA battery for about 100 hours. 100 hours. Okay, I'm all over that. And a bunch of other stuff. So how to mount it, how to put the foam on, how to connect to your camera, or how to connect like to a boom pole or something like that. Awesome. That's really good. And here it is. So here's going to be the microphone. You guys will be able to see this. I'm going to untape it here. As you can see, I haven't opened this because I like to do these unboxings for real, right? These are things most of the time I haven't opened them. Some products I open because I'm like, I should probably know a little bit about this before I jump into it. But there you go. There's the microphone. And you can see this is actually like, it's a full, we see a lot of the cheaper ones. They're like, they give this big tubes and then you take the foam off and it's got like this much. It's like barely any actual mic. So that's excellent. My guess is that this would, see, and that's where our battery goes. Now, luckily for both you and I have a battery because this means I can get myself a couple AA rechargeable batteries or a big pack of just batteries and you're good to go. You also get, this is going to be for your boom arm, for your boom pole or mic stand or whatever you have. It's going to go in there. So it has the two different sizes depending on what you need. This is going to bend. And that's pretty much what I'm using right now. This is what the other one came with. Here's going to be your foam, which is going to go on this. So this, and I like it too. It's not just a cheap foam. It actually has like a little, you guys can see that. You can actually tighten and loosen this. So this goes on here, right? Loosen that up so that it fits on there good. Perfect. Get that where it needs to, right about there. And then all we do is we snug that nice and tight so that it's not coming off. Get a nice seal on there, right? This I haven't tightened back up, so. Yeah, and then we get our little baby XLR. So if you are running to a camcorder or a pro level camera or anything like that that has actual XLR inputs, you can run that. Just make sure, again, if you have a camera that does supply phantom power, that's excellent. You might want to use something like that. But for me, going into my R6 right now, or my RP, or any of the above, this is going to be the cable that we use when I'm going to be connecting this microphone to either my R6 or my Canon RP, which is the one shooting over here. And this one's going to go from the XLR on the back here to your 3.5mm, right? So that means we're good. I was wondering if we're going to need that. So the only thing that I think you may want to get if you are going to be connecting this to, let's say, your mirrorless camera, your SLR, or whatever it is a, well, this. And it's basically a shock mount because it doesn't come with one. So it is one of the things that I was like, oh, it's too bad that it doesn't, because it's all, you know, look at this. It works with a mirrorless camera or DSLR, but there's no real way to mount that, you know. So unless you have one of these already, then it's not a big deal. I have a few, but they have mics that they go with. So this was like $11. You know, it's a, what is it? It's a small rig. So $11 for a shock mount. Comes with a bunch of extra like rings, so elastics. So for like $11, I think it was $12, something like that. Perfect. And this, of course, we're gonna just mount in here. Get that where it needs to go. And you can see that's gonna fit. It's gonna fit really nice. And that's gonna mount on top of your camera. Yeah, that should be perfect. Get that in there. All right, so let's do this. I'm gonna put my battery in here, and I have a AA battery over there. Let's put the battery inside this. So what we're gonna do now, simple test. We're going to put a battery in here. I'm gonna grab one right now, hold on. Nothing fancy, just a cheap battery. Does it say how to put this in here? I think it's plus on that side. So that's gonna slide in that way. I believe. And then what I'm gonna do is you and I, we're going to, well, not you, I am gonna take this and I'm gonna hook it into this camera right now and see if this sounds just any different. Does it sound much different than this? It's gonna be a little farther away, not a lot, but a little farther. If it can sound close, super happy. Give me 2 secs, I'm gonna switch these around. Okay guys, I think that's on there. Oh, that's looking sharp. I was a little concerned. I was like, I wonder if it's gonna be so big that it gets in the shot of the lens, but no, it's fine. You guys can see it here. That looks a whole bunch of all right. Oh yes, super pleased with that. So the real question now is, and I'm not touching the audio at all. This audio is raw out of the microphone and camera, just like the microphone sound that comes from this one. So the beginning was taken from the D2, and this now is the D1, which has phantom power through a little AA battery. The only thing I do wish that I didn't see, and I guess I get it, is a little power indicator. So it has 100 hours. Just what I would say is that if you kind of know you're in a scenario that you're like require sound, especially if you have a camera that doesn't have like audio meters, just make sure that you have or put in a fresh battery before you actually do your shoot, because the last thing you want is not to be aware, or at least have something like with my camera, for instance, someone could be monitoring with headphones, but a lot of us may get a microphone like this that have no way of monitoring it. So in that scenario, you want to make sure that fresh battery goes in, do a test to make sure that everything's connected fine, you put the battery in the right way, etc., to go forward. Because yeah, no power indicator that I can see, but really it's sound. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna stop this video again. I'm stopping it again because we've got a bit of a sound test. And I'm gonna go listen to this and then come back and let you know what I think. All right, 2 secs, guys. All right, guys, so I've got the camera set up right here so you guys can see it, hopefully. This is now actually my RP, and I have the RP set up with the microphone on top of it, because I was wondering if when it's that far back, and again, you know, it's at least 6-7 feet away from me, and I don't have a great soundproofed room, so this microphone considerably closer. So I wanted to give it a better comparison. So now I'm holding this camera here, and this is about the same distance. So if I actually tilted this up, this would be very similar distance away to what the actual other microphone is for distance, because I wanted to hear if it sounded the same. When I listened to it when it was mounted on this camera, it had a little bit of echo to it, and I have a feeling, again, my room isn't soundproofed very well, and because it's not soundproofed very well, you're gonna get some sound bouncing. So this is now in a position that's much closer, about arm's reach. So hopefully this will sound better. Not that it sounded bad before, it sounded quite good. Again, I've used other microphones, but whenever they're at this distance, you, again, in a non-soundproof room, especially because this camera, if you were to turn it around, it's only about 1.5 feet and it's up against a wall. So it gets a lot of rebound sound, so a lot of reflection. Hopefully this one here, though, is gonna be a better accurate depiction of what the sound is going to be like from this microphone. And my hope is that it's going to be sounding much closer, much better in regards to that sound quality. So at least closer to the actual D2 that I was using before. All right, guys, I'm going to leave you there. You guys can tell me below what you think of the sound. I think at this distance, it's going to sound way better than it was over there because of the fact that it's just closer, and it's going to have a similar sound profile to the other microphone. Love that this thing takes batteries so that I can actually take it out in the field now and use this, because I'm a fan. I have to say, I'm a fan of this brand, the Synco brand. I've never even heard of them before, again, until a friend of mine was like, you should check them out. And I'm glad I did. Oh yes. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And I will put links down below to this. It's the Synco Mic-D1 multi-powered hyper-cardioid mic with brass tube high-pass filter, XLR, and 3.5 millimeter. Am I saying that right? Have I been? You always think back and we're like, did I see the right numbers? You know, the headphone jack style. Link down below. Like, comment, share. and subscribe. And we'll see you guys next video. Later, guys. What do you think? Good? Yeah? I think so. Cool.